Chapter 5, Mariam Vale. The photograph shook in Marcus's hand, not because of the wind, because his fingers would not hold still. At the center of the old, cracked image stood the man from his dream, the man from the chamber, the man with Marcus's face and gold-burning eyes. Only he was not Marcus, not future Marcus, not some warning from tomorrow, his ancestor. Marcus stared at the date on the back, October 17th, 1913. The alley seemed to narrow around him. "That's impossible," he said. Mariam Vale did not soften. Most true things are until they happen to you. The building behind them groaned. Brick dust drifted from the upper windows. Something deep in the condemned structure shifted with a long, wet creak, like a corpse rolling over in its grave. Marcus stepped away from it. "What's his name?" Mariam looked at the photograph. Silas Vale. The name hit the air wrong, not loud, not dramatic, but wrong. The alley lights flickered. A car alarm went off 3 blocks away. Miriam's eyes snapped toward the building. "Do not say it again." Marcus looked at her. "His name? Names are handles," she said, "and things in the dark love to be held." The building groaned again. This time something answered from below. A pulse, low, heavy, alive. Marcus felt it in his bones. The second line. Mariam grabbed his wrist. "We need to move." Marcus pulled back. "No, you don't get to drag me around anymore. You knew my name. You knew my family. You knew that thing was wearing my face. And you ignored every warning I gave you. You didn't explain anything. You weren't ready." Marcus laughed, sharp and ugly. "That's what people say when they want control." Miriam's face hardened. "You want the truth? Fine. Your bloodline opened something under this city in 1913. Your ancestor tried to use ley current, sound, and elemental force to transmute matter directly, not symbolically, not spiritually, physically. He wanted gold without labor, power without consequence, time without death." Marcus swallowed. Behind him, inside the ruined building, something dragged across the floorboards. Slow, heavy. Mariam heard it too. Her voice dropped. He failed. Another drag. Closer. Marcus turned toward the dark back entrance. "What is that?" Mariam pulled a small cloth pouch from her coat and pressed it into his hand. "Salt, iron, brick dust from the old cathedral. Keep it closed unless I tell you." "Unless you tell me?" "Yes." Mariam. The dragging stopped. The alley went silent. Then, from inside the building, a voice spoke. Marcus's voice. "Come back." His blood turned cold. The voice came again, closer to the doorway. "Marcus," Mariam whispered. "Do not answer." The rotten back door hung open in the dark. Nothing moved. Then Marcus heard footsteps, not dragging now, walking, one step, then another. Measured, patient. A figure appeared in the doorway. Marcus's heart slammed against his ribs. It was him. Not exactly. Older, thinner, dressed in an old black suit dusted with ash. His hair was slicked back. His face was Marcus's face, pulled tight over someone else's hunger. His eyes glowed faintly gold. Silas Vale smiled. Mariam stepped in front of Marcus. "Stay behind me." Silas tilted his head. "Mariam." The way he said her name made her flinch, not with fear, with memory. "You look tired," Silas said. "You look dead." "I improved." The building behind him cracked. Bricks shifted, but did not fall. The structure seemed to be holding itself together by listening to him. Marcus felt the tuning fork vibrate inside his backpack. Silas's golden eyes moved to him. "There you are." Marcus forced himself to speak. "What do you want?" Silas smiled wider. "What all fathers want. Continuation. I'm not your son." "No," Silas said. "You are something better. You are the echo that finally found its way back to the source." Mariam raised one hand. Between her fingers was a small iron nail wrapped in red thread. "Take one more step and I'll pin your shadow to the brick." Silas's smile faded. For the first time, Marcus saw something like caution. Then Silas looked at the nail and laughed softly. You kept it. I kept everything. Sentimental. Prepared. Silas's eyes darkened. The alley lights burst. Glass popped above them. Marcus ducked as sparks rained down. Mariam shouted, "Run!" She threw the iron nail. It flew straight at Silas's feet and struck the wet alley with a sharp metallic crack. For 1 second, the world inverted. The shadows on the walls stood upright like people. Silas screamed, not in pain, in rage. Mariam grabbed Marcus by the jacket and dragged him toward the street. They ran. Behind them, the building exploded outward, not with fire, with darkness. A black wave burst through the doorway and poured into the alley, swallowing light as it came. Marcus glanced back. The wave had hands, dozens of them, long-reaching boneless shadows scraping along brick and pavement. "Don't look!" Mariam shouted. Too late. One shadow hand stretched toward Marcus's ankle. He felt cold climb his leg, not surface cold, soul cold. Every regret he had ever buried opened inside him at once. Every failure, every humiliation, every desperate thought. Every time he had wanted to be more than he was and hated himself for not knowing how. He stumbled. Mariam turned, ripped the pouch from his hand, and flung its contents across the alley. Salt flashed white. Iron sparked red. Brick dust bloomed like blood in the air. The shadow hands recoiled. The alley screamed. Marcus hit the pavement hard, tearing skin from his palm. Gold dust smeared across the concrete. The ground responded. A thin gold line lit beneath him. Mariam saw it. "No," she whispered. The line shot forward through the alley like burning wire. It connected with the condemned building, then with the street, then with something beneath the city. A triangle of golden force flared into existence under the pavement. Library, North Ridge, House of Rot, the 3 points, the First Circuit. Mariam grabbed Marcus by both shoulders. "What did you do in there?" "I didn't do anything." "The line doesn't activate for nothing." Silas stepped out of the darkness at the far end of the alley. The iron nail still pinned his shadow to the ground, but the shadow was tearing itself loose inch by inch. He smiled through clenched teeth. He refused the proof. Mariam's eyes widened. Marcus looked between them. "What does that mean?" Silas answered. "It means the line marked him worthy." Mariam's face went pale. That scared Marcus more than Silas did. "Mariam," he said. "What does that mean?" She did not answer. The gold triangle beneath the street pulsed. Once, twice. A sewer grate exploded upward 20 feet away. Steam blasted into the air. Not steam, mist, thick, white, crawling. Inside it were voices, children laughing, men shouting, a woman singing, metal striking stone, a bell tolling from some year that was not 2026. Mariam pulled Marcus to his feet. "We have to get underground." "What?" "The city is waking. If we stay on the surface, every line runner within 3 states will feel this." Line runner? People who know enough to be dangerous and not enough to be wise. Silas laughed from the alley. "Still afraid of competition?" Mariam turned on him. "I'm afraid of fools opening mouths in the dark and calling whatever answers God." The gold triangle pulsed again. This time, every window in the alley reflected a different place. One showed the same street in 1913, crowded with men in hats and horses pulling wagons. Another showed the street flooded, cars floating like dead beetles. Another showed black towers rising where downtown should have been. One showed Marcus standing alone, covered in gold, smiling. He looked away fast. Mariam slapped him, hard. His head snapped to the side. "What the hell?" "Stay in this year," she said. The slap worked. The reflections shattered back into ordinary glass. Silas's pinned shadow tore free. Mariam cursed. He stepped forward. The alley stretched. The street seemed suddenly farther away. Marcus ran, but the distance lengthened with every step. Buildings bent inward. The pavement rippled like water. The white mist thickened around their knees. Silas was manipulating space. Marcus felt it, not as theory, as pressure. The street was being folded against them. Mariam shoved the black book into his chest. Open to the map. I thought you said don't open it. I said don't read it out loud. Open it. Marcus fumbled the book open while running. The pages whipped violently, then settled on a drawing of the alley. Ink spread across the paper. A door appeared where no door existed. Mariam pointed to the wall on the left. There! Marcus looked. Nothing, just brick. Then the book burned hot in his hands. On the wall, a gold outline appeared. A door. Silas saw it. No! The word cracked the air. Every brick in the alley trembled. Mariam grabbed Marcus's gold-stained hand and slammed it against the glowing outline. Pain shot up his arm. The wall opened, not inward, not outward. It unfolded. Behind it was a stairwell descending into blackness. Mariam pushed Marcus through. Move! They plunged down the stairs as the brick doorway began closing behind them. Silas lunged. For one horrible second, his hand slipped through the gap. Long fingers, pale skin, nails blackened like burnt metal. He caught Marcus by the backpack. The tuning fork inside began screaming. Marcus felt himself being pulled backward through the closing wall. Mariam grabbed his wrist. Silas grabbed the bag. The wall squeezed tighter. Marcus screamed as the straps dug into his shoulders. Let go of the bag, Mariam shouted. The book's in it. Then choose, Silas hissed from the other side, his voice suddenly layered with hundreds of others. Bring me through, blood of my blood. Marcus reached across his chest with his free hand, tore one strap loose, then the other. The backpack ripped away. Silas vanished with it as the brick wall slammed shut. The last thing Marcus heard from the other side was the tuning fork ringing. Then silence, total, heavy, underground silence. Marcus lay on the stairwell floor gasping, one shoulder burning, both hands shaking. Mariam leaned against the wall, breathing hard. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Marcus looked up. The tuning fork. I know. The copper, the quartz, the book. I know. He has everything. Mariam's eyes were closed. When she opened them, they were wet, but hard. No, she said. He has tools. Marcus sat up slowly. That's supposed to make me feel better? He has tools, Mariam repeated. But he does not have the operator. Marcus looked at his gold-stained palm. The glow had not faded. Somewhere beyond the sealed wall, far above them, the tuning fork rang again. This time the sound moved through the stone. The stairwell lights flickered on, one by one, but they were not electric lights. They were old gas lamps, burning with blue flame. Marcus turned. The stairwell no longer ended where it should have. It descended farther, much farther, deep under the city. Mariam wiped blood from the corner of her mouth and started down. Where are we going? She did not stop. The old tunnels. What old tunnels? The ones your family built before they built the city over them. Marcus forced himself to stand. The ringing above grew louder. Another sound joined it. Brick cracking, metal twisting, water rushing. Silas was opening something. Mariam looked back at Marcus. No more half-truths. No more delay. You wanted to know what your family did? The blue lamps burned brighter. Below them, deep in the dark, something enormous breathed. Mariam's voice dropped. Good, because it is still down here.